In late winter, a man was hiking through a remote valley in Colorado. The area was isolated, far from any homes. He was filming the breathtaking view from a high, rocky outcrop. But during the recording, he suddenly noticed something strange. Two dark figures moving across the valley below. They appeared large, with broad shoulders and long arms. Moments later, they vanished into the trees. Feeling uneasy, the man quickly left the area. To this day, he isn't sure what he saw out there. But whatever it wasn't human. In September 2015, in the small town of Venita, Oklahoma, something strange began happening at a local car dealership. Green Country Ford staff arrived to find vehicles torn apart. Bumpers and fenders were ripped off, bite marks gashed through the metal, clumps of fur and traces of blood were left behind. Police launched an investigation and believed a large white dog was responsible. But what kind of dog could do this much damage? Despite overnight searches with spotlights and patrols, the animal was never caught. And the attacks didn't stop. More vehicles were damaged, and the cost soared into the thousands. People began to whisper, was it just a dog, or something else entirely? Some pointed the size and the strength of the damage. Others noted the repeat visits, the seeming intelligence, the timing. The police never made an arrest. The creature was never found, and the true cause of the Venita dealership attacks remains unknown to this day. A hunter had set up a trail camera deep in the woods, hoping to capture signs of wildlife. One weekend, he returned to check the footage, preparing for his next trip into the backcountry. That's when he saw something strange. A large, dark figure, walking upright, moving through the trees. Shocked, he shared the footage online, asking for help identifying what he had captured. Was it Bigfoot, or just someone playing a prank? The hunter insisted the area was remote, deep in the woods, and only a handful of people even knew where his camera was placed. To this day, no one has come forward to claim responsibility. So what did he record that day? Reddit user SasquatchBalls45 uploaded a video that a friend had sent him from a hunting lease near Honobia, Oklahoma. The friend spotted a black figure walking upright through the trees and quietly recorded it until it disappeared. He never saw it again. Most commenters agreed it was a great capture, but some skeptics wondered if it could just be another hunter. What do you think? In 2009, Justina Foulier and a friend were recording casual footage in the Tatra Mountains, near a creek along the Poland-Slovakia border. For a while, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, until Justina spotted it and screamed. A figure was standing silently in the trees behind them. Whatever, or whoever it was, vanished into the forest the moment it was seen. The footage is shaky and unfocused, but keep in mind it was filmed in 2009. So who, or what, was watching them that day? Reddit user Jacob Abraham was hiking off trail when he saw something that at first looked like a bear. He pulled out his phone to record, but as he watched it move, he started to think it wasn't a bear, though he couldn't tell what it was. He showed the footage to a friend who suggested he share it online. Did he just capture Bigfoot? An employee with the Department of Transportation noticed something remarkable in footage from a DOT webcam in eastern Washington. The camera had been recording winter conditions in Sherman Pass, about 5,500 feet above sea level, when a dark figure appeared in the snow. In a still frame beneath a tree, the shape didn't match any known object in the area. It appeared roughly human-sized and completely black from head to toe. It didn't look like a shadow or blown debris. The shape looked solid and upright. If it's not human, is it Bigfoot? Content creator Keith was alone in the remote wilderness on a solo metal detecting trip. As he moved deeper into the forest, the silence was suddenly broken by something strange.
Work on my way back.
A sound, loud, echoing through the trees, unlike anything he had ever heard before. It didn't match any known animal call from the region, but the source stayed hidden, never revealing itself. Thankfully, Keith made it out of the forest safely, but whatever made that sound is still out there. In the 1980s, deep in the forests of Alberta, Canada, a lone camper spotted something moving in the distance and quickly began recording. The short video he captured shows a large bipedal figure moving through the trees. It doesn't resemble a man, and it certainly doesn't match any known animal from the region. Some believe it could be a Sasquatch. Others claim it was just a person in a costume. But whatever this man truly captured on film remains a mystery to this day. During a snowstorm in Arizona, a woman named Rose recorded a video from inside her car while driving near White River above Roberts Ranch. The audio captured loud, unfamiliar sounds from outside the vehicle. The sounds continued as she drove along a remote stretch of road near the White River. The noises were clear in the recording despite the wind and passing cars. This area has previous reports of similar sounds and sightings, but no one really knows what it is. This trail camera was set up in a remote part of the forest intended to capture footage of local wildlife. While reviewing the footage, the owner spotted a deer walking calmly in front of the lens. But that wasn't the only thing caught on camera. Behind the deer, a large, hairy figure stood upright, almost motionless. At several moments, the figure shifted slightly, just enough to confirm it was alive. Interestingly, there appeared to be a structure in the background as well, made of branches arranged deliberately. It looked like some kind of shelter. So what exactly did this trail camera capture? A man and his wife were driving along a forest road during the day. But as they made their way down the trail, they came across a fallen tree blocking most of the road, forcing them to stop. Before moving on, the wife took a quick photo of the scene. Later, after arriving at their cabin, they decided to show the photo to their family. That's when they noticed something strange. Near the end of the fallen tree, a dark shape. It appeared hunched, with broad shoulders and a rounded head just visible above the leaves. And on closer inspection, a second, less obvious form could be seen behind the first. Only a small section was visible, partially hidden through the branches. Could this truly have been two creatures caught on camera? Or was it just a trick of light and shadow? A case of pareidolia? In the summer of 1924, deep in the shadow of Mount St. Helens, 5 miners thought they were alone in the wilderness. They were wrong. Fred Beck and his crew had set up camp near a narrow gorge, but soon something terrifying happened. The men claimed they were attacked, not by bears or bandits, but by hairy ape-like creatures standing nearly 7 feet tall with glowing eyes and huge feet. The creatures began hurling massive rocks at the cabin, pounding on the walls, clawing at the door, trying to force their way in. Trapped and terrified, the miners fired their rifles into the shadows, hoping to drive the attackers back. The siege lasted for hours. By dawn, the creatures vanished into the forest. The men, shaken and exhausted, abandoned their camp and fled the mountain, straight to the authorities with a chilling tale. Locals dubbed the place Ape Canyon, a name that stuck. But was it real? Skeptics say it was a hoax, maybe pranksters, or a case of mass hysteria. No footprints, no bodies, no proof. But Fred Beck insisted it was real, even claiming later that supernatural forces were involved. What really happened that night in Ape Canyon remains a mystery. Reddit user Cara8 Bishop was scrolling through Zillow when she came across a New Hampshire listing, a quiet house tucked away in the woods. But then she noticed something strange. One of the photos had a shape in the background that didn't belong. She zoomed in and saw a figure standing near the property. Many commenters suggested it might be Bigfoot caught on camera by accident, while others think it could just be a trick to grab attention. If that's the case, it worked. The listing is now off the market. Now, if you're enjoying my videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps me creating new stories every week, and it means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. A photo was shared on the Bigfoot subreddit by a user who found it in a box of old pictures at their 98-year-old grandfather's home in Connecticut. There was no label or date, and it had been stored with regular family photos. The image shows a dark figure with unusually long arms. It doesn't match anything else in the box. Why the photo was there, who took it, and the story behind it will likely remain an unsolved mystery. A group of friends was setting up a campsite in an unknown forest when the camera caught movement in the trees. Take a look.
I don't see anything.
Look at the size of that thing!
A tall, dark shape appears between the trunks, moving upright. Its size and thick hair don't match any known animal. Shocked by what they had just seen and captured, the group quickly ran back to their car. A hiker was walking through a forest in Slovakia when he captured this terrifying footage. Something felt off, so he scanned the area with his camera. When he zoomed in, the truth hit him. A giant creature was right there. Without thinking, he ran for his life. To this day, he still wonders if what he saw was Bigfoot. Allegedly, this footage was captured by a hiker in the Himalayan mountains in 1992. The footage shows a tall figure moving through deep snow in an open area. The video was recorded in 1992 and released in a 1996 Bigfoot documentary. After its release, the clip spread across many platforms, but the source was never fully documented. No verified records explain how it was filmed or who recorded it, and the footage remains without a confirmed origin. This clip was posted on the Squatch is Real's Instagram. In the winter of 1969, residents of Bossburg, Washington found more than 1,000 large barefoot tracks after heavy snowfall. The prints crossed frozen fields, roads, and wood, and were recorded with photos and plaster casts. The tracks appeared overnight and moved across open land without breaks. One foot was normal, while the other showed a strong deformity that changed how it was pressed into the snow. The prints showed weight shifts, toe spread, and depth that matched walking. Researcher René de Hinden and anthropologist Dr. Grover Krantz examined the trail, but the snow melted and the trackway disappeared, leaving no trace behind. A teenager was hiking alone in a remote forest in the United States when he heard movement ahead and started filming. The camera caught a large primate-like figure moving low on all fours, briefly blocking the path. In a few frames, the body looks bulky, with fur stretched tight over it and clear muscle movement underneath. It didn't really resemble a bear, but no one can say for sure what it was. The teenager turned and ran, while the figure stayed back in the trees. He never gave a clear explanation of what he believed he saw. In 1987, 16-year-old Theresa Bier from Fresno, California, vanished during a camping trip in Ghost Canyon, near Shut-Eye Peak in the Sierra Nevada. She had gone into the mountains with 43-year-old Russell "Skip" Welch, an older acquaintance she had been spending time with, but days later, Welch came back alone. At first, he told police that Theresa had simply run away. Later, his story changed. He claimed she had been abducted by Bigfoot. When search teams went to the area, they found a campsite that didn't feel right. Items appeared staged, and there was no clear sign of where Theresa went. Despite extensive ground and air searches, no trace of her was ever found. A helicopter later spotted Welch's shirt in the area. It tested positive for meth. Welch was charged with child stealing, but was eventually released, and no further charges stuck. Over time, the case went cold. Most investigators believe Theresa likely met with foul play, and that Welch's Bigfoot claim was a distraction. Still, among cryptid believers, the story lives on, and some genuinely argue her disappearance is one of the most cited cases to support Bigfoot abduction theories. Nearly 4 decades later, Theresa Bier has never been found, and what really happened in Ghost Canyon remains unanswered. a video was uploaded by YouTuber thefactsbyhowtohunt.com. He had received the clip from one of his followers and thought it was too striking not to share. The footage shows a tall bipedal figure moving across uneven terrain from a distance. It crosses slopes and rocky ground that would be difficult for a human to navigate, yet it keeps steady balance and moves at a constant, smooth pace. Each rise and drop in the terrain would make walking challenging for a person, but the figure handles it effortlessly. Still, the distance, the motion, and the setting make it hard to identify what it really is. But I feel like we're all thinking the same thing. An Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife biologist named Dave found a footprint in the Salmonberry River Canyon inside Tamok State Forest on February 1st, 2025. The print measured about 10 to 12 inches long and about 5 to 6 inches wide in a remote winter area. The print had a clear human shape, yet no barefoot person was known to be in the forest at that time. This followed reports from 2013 of a tall figure on a ridge and from 2014 of wood knocking and loud screams at night. In the 1990s, two large figures were seen running through clearings, and in 2021, non-animal calls were recorded near Bloom Lake. Locals are convinced something is there. This video allegedly comes from a Facebook live session recorded on a property in Batesville, Mississippi, and was later posted to TikTok.
What the fuck is that?
I tell you what.
What is that?
Go turn the car and look. Look hard again.
Go get the pistol. Go look under the seat and get the gun.
Yeah, there.
Look up under my seat.
What one?
Look up under the pickup seat. Get the pistol.
Come on, it's in the truck.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck that is, man. Oh my God. This is real, man.
The man streaming believed it was near his home and tried to respond, but the uploaded clip ended with the figure still visible. What happened after the live session remains unknown. Over the years, several people have claimed to spot large unknown figures in various locations on Google Earth Street View. One image, allegedly from Washington State, shows a tall shape among the trees. When enhanced, many say they can make out a face, broad shoulders, and a humanoid form. Another image, from an unknown location in Europe, appears to show a fur-covered figure standing upright in a field. But did they really capture Bigfoot? Or is it just one of those Google Earth Easter eggs? In 2005, a backpacker in the Tatra Mountains took a photo of a distant bipedal figure. It caught his attention because he didn't expect anyone to be that far up the mountain. When he zoomed in, the image revealed broad shoulders and a thick build. Without a clear size reference, it's hard to say whether the figure was actually larger than a human. The backpacker made no claims, only noting that the sight felt unusual, yet the photo continued to raise questions. The figure's shape matched a known Bigfoot silhouette, and the lack of clear features made the image even harder to explain. At Logan Canyon in Utah, a group recorded a large, dark figure moving through a forested area. The figure appeared both tall and wide as it crossed the frame. Later, the same location was filmed again, using a 6-foot man weighing about 220 pounds for scale. When the two clips were compared, the figure in the original footage appeared noticeably taller and larger than the man. The area is remote and heavily wooded, making the figure difficult to track or identify. Someone was hiking at an unknown location when they noticed strange movement far ahead. They pulled out their camera and zoomed in to record.
Oh, what the crap? Is that a guy?
What they captured looked like an unusually tall humanoid figure moving through the forest at a remarkable speed. It appeared to walk on two legs while bent forward, giving it a shape that didn't match any known animal. The figure quickly disappeared into the woods and was never seen again by the hiker. Later, when he reviewed the footage, he still couldn't clearly make out what it was. A security camera in East Texas captured strange footage on the night of August 23, 2025. The camera was pointed toward a backyard, with a clear view of the neighbouring property beyond it. Late that night, a large shape entered the frame from the far end of the yard. The figure stood upright and moved slowly across the neighbour's property. It appeared tall, broad and dark, with a hunched posture. The witness later said the area was rural and completely quiet at that hour. The figure's size seemed larger than a normal human, leaving the neighbourhood wondering who or what was out there that night. A homeowner got a motion alert from their Ring security camera late at night. When they checked the saved footage, it showed a dark shape moving near the fence behind their home, instead of the usual wildlife in the backyard and nearby forest. The shape came out of the trees in a low position. It then rose higher and larger as it moved closer to the camera. The figure appeared tall and humanoid inside the yard. The homeowner uploaded the clip online because it could not be identified. But most viewers agreed. This gotta be fake. In 1924, Albert Ostman, a seasoned prospector, set out alone into the wilds of British Columbia. His destination, the remote forests of Toba Inlet. He was dropped off by boat with supplies, tools, and a rifle, planning to spend several days scouting for gold before being picked up. But soon, Ostman's camp was disturbed. His food supplies were taken, yet nothing was torn or damaged. It didn't seem like the work of animals. Something, or someone, was watching. One night, he climbed into his sleeping bag with his rifle in hand. Suddenly, he was jolted awake, still inside his bag, being carried. Blind, confused, and unable to move, he was hauled across rugged terrain for hours. When he was finally dropped, Ostman found he was inside a steep, hidden basin, surrounded by 4 towering, human-like figures covered in hair. A family. There was a massive male, a broad-shouldered female, and 2 younger creatures. The only exit was a narrow pass, and it was guarded. He wasn't harmed, but he was watched constantly. His supplies began to dwindle. The creatures communicated in gestures and grunts. They were curious, but made no move to let him go. Then he had an idea. Ostman offered the large male a plug of chewing tobacco. The creature ate it and became violently ill. In the confusion, Ostman ran. He climbed ridge after ridge through unforgiving terrain, finally reaching the coast, where he flagged down a boat and left the wilderness behind. Ostman was held for 6 days. For decades, Albert Ostman kept the story to himself, afraid of ridicule. But in 1957, as public interest in Sasquatch began to rise, he came forward and told the world what he believed happened. Skeptics dismissed it, but others point to the detailed descriptions, the strange behavior, and the isolation of the region as reason to reconsider. Was it all a hoax? Or did Albert Ostman truly spend 6 days as the prisoner of a Sasquatch family? And for more Bigfoot encounters, watch this next video.